Get your free copy of the complete tutorial at www.teachucomp.com/free.
Now you'll examine some formulas that are commonly used when dealing with tables. The first functions that we will discuss are in the lookup and reference function category. There are two primary functions within this function set that are used to look up table data. You can use these functions to look up a column value in a table and then return a corresponding column value from the same row. The first, Hlookup, will look up data values within a table that is structured in rows with a header column at the left side. The second and more commonly used function, Vlookup, will look up data values in a traditional columnar table. Based on the layout of the table in which you are looking up data, you will need to use either one or the other to look up a data value in the table. There are three required arguments and one optional fourth argument that you must know before you can create a lookup function. Arguments are the additional pieces of information that a function requires to be performed. First, you must know the lookup value. This is the value that you want to look up within the table. It is most commonly a cell reference. Second, you need to know the cell range reference of the table in which you want to look up the first value. This is called the table array. Third, you need to know the column or row index number. This is the number of columns to the right of the leftmost column, or the number of rows down from the top row of the table within which Excel must look for the data that you want to return. The optional fourth argument is the range lookup. This is a logical value, meaning true or false, which you can enter if needed. If omitted, the argument is assumed to be true. What it does is specify whether or not you wish to perform a ranged lookup on the data within the database. If you need to find an exact match for your data, often when you're looking up text values, you can insert false for the range lookup argument to find an exact match within the table. For example, let's say that you have a columnar customer table within a worksheet. In that sheet, you want to create a cell that will automatically look up the customer's address when you type the customer's company name in an adjacent cell. Assume that the first column of the table contains the customer's company names, and the third column of the table contains the customer's company addresses. You can then write a function that will take the value of the cell adjacent to it, which is the lookup value, compare it to the customer table, which is the table array, look up the customer's company name in the first column until it finds a match, and then count over 3 columns, which is the column index number, to find the customer's address. Since we want the function to find an exact match based on the customer's name, we will then add the false value to the range lookup argument in this case. After you've created the formula, you could then type a customer's company name into the cell that is being looked up, and the cell into which you had placed the formula would display the customer's address after looking it up within the table. In this case, we would use the Vlookup function because the example stated that we had a traditional columnar table in which we were looking up the data. The syntax of a lookup function is either equals Vlookup, open parenthesis, lookup value, comma, table array, comma, column index number, comma, range lookup, or equals Hlookup, open parenthesis, lookup value, comma, table array, comma, row index number, comma, range lookup, close parenthesis. When you're entering the table array value for the lookup function, it may be useful to assign it a range name or make it an absolute reference. Named ranges are always assigned as absolute references, and this will assure that the table array argument will not change if you copy and paste this formula. If you don't use named ranges, you can assign the table array as an absolute reference by typing the dollar symbol before both the column reference letter and the row reference number for both cell references in the range. Remember, if you don't do this, the lookup function may not work if you copy it to a new location.
Like what you see? Pick up your free copy of the complete tutorial at www.teachucomp.com/free.